You know, something that has become very, very clear within the gaming industry is that whenever a new genre of game is upon us, we have the habit of calling them clones. At least until we find another game that is just as successful, or maybe even more so, than the game that originally created said genre. Today I wanted to talk about Slap City and why I think you guys should give it a chance and give it the playtime it deserves. Right now, the game has very little people playing it online. I've been playing it for a little while now. I've only just recently actually owned the game and putting more time into it, playing with friends and whatnot. And I've come to expect that people should be more open to playing games like this or games like Rivals of Aether. It seems that whenever I bring the game up to someone, it's very obvious or very clear that they feel that the game is simply a Super Smash Bros. Clone. That's where I have the issue. See, when Sakurai first created Smash, he clearly wasn't trying to make a fighting game. He was trying to make a party game, and he made that very clear multiple times. He inadvertently has created a fighting game, and not just a fighting game, but what I and many others believe to be a whole new genre of fighting games, known as the platformer fighter. Many people kind of just, take stuff like PlayStation All-Stars and Brawlhalla, Rivals of Aether, and Slap City and give it this, oh, it's a Smash Brothers clone, or they're biting off of Smash, or they're copying Smash. That's far from the truth. Now, if you take something like, say, Street Fighter, something that basically started what we know of today as the modern fighting game, I'm sure there were many people who felt that games were copying off of Street Fighter, and maybe some were, maybe. I'm not saying copycats don't exist. They certainly do. However, when games like Mortal Kombat came out, games like Killer Instinct, other fighting games that were, a level of quality, we gave them that chance, and we said, look, this is a genre. This isn't just a Street Fighter game. This is its own thing. When Doom and Wolfenstein 3D came out, and they were the pioneers of first-person shooters, some people thought that the games that came after were Doom clones. No, this was the beginning of a whole new genre. Creating a subgenre is not exactly the same thing, or does not fully equate, but I do think that games like Rivals of Aether, or games like this video is about, Slap City, fall under this category. I do think that Slap City and Rivals of Aether has a long way to go to even competing anywhere near Super Smash Bros. Honestly, I don't think it ever will. But I think that the stigma of being considered clones or copycats is ridiculous. Both of these games offer a completely different experience than Smash Bros. Does, while also sticking to the tradition, so to speak, of a platformer fighter. And something I also want to point out to people who are fans of Smash is that Smash for a very long time, for years, had to fight to be able to be considered a fighting game and be taken seriously in the FGC. So why are we shitting on games or looking down upon games that are inspired by what we've done? What we as a community has accomplished for Super Smash Bros. The people who have made these games usually are massive fans of Smash, and they are passionate about this genre. Slap City is a game that should have way more people playing it. Way more. Recently, I went online on Slap City, and I noticed that there was only 2 lobbies open in the entirety of the game. Keep in mind that as of right now, Slap City is only on Steam, and when I searched online to find other people to play, I only found 2 lobbies open. One lobby was just one guy by himself, and the other lobby was a lobby made specifically for the Discord server, the official Discord server of Slap City, to have a tournament. This means that the only people playing this game online is the occasional rando and the competitive scene. And even then, the competitive scene only had one tournament going on. The game online is not as populated as I thought it was going to be. And right now, it seems like only the competitive crowd of the game is really playing it. And even then, a small section of them are playing it. The game is honestly really good, and it really deserves more than it currently has. It's also a very cheap game as of right now on Steam, which I believe is about $10. It's not a bad game by any means, and I think it's actually one of the better platformer fighters I've seen. But whenever I've brought this game up to someone to seriously consider playing it, they often discredit it and say that it is basically just Smash, so why not just play Smash? Yeah, to an extent I get that, but at the same vein, why does someone play Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? Why does one person pick one over the other? Because while they are traditional fighters to their core, they are drastically different with their mechanics. Even then, you have multiple fighting games that are similar to each other in their mechanics, and they're still wildly respected and have their own individual fan bases. Smash Brothers, at least especially with Ultimate, is by far the biggest fan base out of all these fighting games ever. Had the biggest tournament, had the biggest results at EVO. It had the most sales out of any fighting game ever. And yet, we only want one platformer fighter to succeed. I don't understand that. I play Slap City, Rivals of Aether, and Super Smash Brothers. Eventually, I would like to stream all of them, and I would hope that these games would be supported by the people who also enjoy platformer fighters. And mind you, I'm not saying that because you enjoy Smash, you have to enjoy these other games. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that to at least give them a shot. Play Slap City. Play Rivals of Aether. These games deserve to be played. They do not deserve to be discredited purely based on them having similarities with the games that they are inspired by. These games are very well made. And hell, I'm not even a fan of Brawlhalla. But even then, you should try that game out too. Because sure, I may not be a fan of it, but there's many people who are. So give that a shot too. There's other platformer fighters other than Smash. And yes, I understand. It's not as exciting when you don't have Super Mario fighting Sonic and Snake and Cloud and Joker, and I get that. But you might end up really liking the mechanics of Rivals of Aether or Slap City. And if you're one of those people who just play Nintendo consoles and maybe that's why you just play Smash, look, Rivals of Aether very soon will be released on the Nintendo Switch. That is by far, in my opinion, the best example of a platformer fighter that's not Smash Brothers. It has many mechanics that is exclusive to that game. It has a lot of things that makes it unique while also being familiar to those who have played a platformer fighter like Smash Brothers. And Slap City is a game still very much in development. Yeah, you can get it now, but it's one of those, early access things. And it plays better than a lot of the platformer fighters I've played, and it's not even done yet. I just wanted to make this video to kind of make that clear. Platformer fighters are a subgenre of fighting games. And we as a community, as the Smash community, we had to fight for years to be taken seriously by the FGC. And even then, now, we still kind of aren't. We still are not fully accepted to be part of the FGC to a certain degree. A lot of the people in the FGC still see Smash as a totally separate entity or as a baby party game. So we have this stigma, and we've had it for years. So why are we looking down upon them? Why are we looking down upon games that are inspired by us? Franchises like Doom and Wolfenstein that started the FPS genre, they celebrate games like Perfect Dark and Halo. So why not celebrate games like Rivals of Aether and Slap City, games that take that formula and give us a totally different spin on it and do something amazing with it? I'm not saying you have to like these games. All I'm saying is give these games a shot. You might actually like them a lot, and hell, maybe mechanically speaking, you might even like them more than Smash. But that's really all I have time for you guys today. I've just been playing a lot of Rivals of Aether and Slap City lately and realizing that there just wasn't as much people giving these games the attention that they deserve, and I wanted to kind of talk about that for a little bit. So that's kind of all I have for you guys today. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below. Maybe you have played Brawlhalla, maybe you have played you know, Slap City or Rivals of Aether, or maybe it wasn't any of those three and you've played a completely different platformer fighter. But regardless, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know how you feel about my feelings about how platformer fighters have kind of struggled to take off if they weren't named Smash. That's basically it, guys. So like the video if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.